So, welcome to Marvin Gardens 2019 and the merry month of May. And things are happening around here as could be expected. But even more important than gardening, there's some family news I need to share with you guys. And it's right there. This is Cassie. Okay, Cassie, you gotta. she's following me so closely that I can't back up quick enough. Okay, all right, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, all right. Now you may notice some family resemblance between the foreground there. Oh boy, I just can't get this. The foreground here and the background there, because Cassie is Frankie's mom. So that's Frankie. Frankie, say hi to everybody. He's kind of fixated on finding squirrels. And that's Cassie. The breeder where we got Frankie and Jessie, I've been in communication with her because I've been looking for a dachshund, and she had Cassie still, and decided that she would be willing to give her up to be reunited with Frankie. And she's smaller, and I don't even know her exact age, but she's probably around 10 because Frankie's 8. But we've had her for just a week now, and she's kind of attached to me, as you can tell. Every time I back up, she comes forward to be closer to me. And she's a delightful little puppy, and she does act like a puppy. Gets into everything and barks at me when I have the audacity to go down the stairs and leave her and stuff like that. But we are very much enjoying her, and it's nice to be a 2 dachshund family again. So that's Cassie, and now we can get on to garden news. All right, now we traditionally start with chives. So there's the chives, and as you can see, changed since last time is that this herb garden has actually turned into a pretty good herb garden. So we've got the chives there. This is parsley that Cassie's trampling on, and cilantro, which certainly at this stage looks a lot like the parsley. And then I told you about the wild arugula that we got. We got some more of it, so it's making kind of a nice backdrop to the herb garden. And then this is the stuff that I promised you I would get the name of last time for this month. And guess what? Of course, I didn't. I have to go find the seed packet or look up the order. But it's the stuff, I think it's Asian chives, but it tastes like garlic. So that's... look, he's gazing skyward. Actually, he's looking for squirrels because they're up in the maple tree eating the little helicopter seeds that are prolifically dropping off the maple tree, as is typical for this time of year. Well, since we're here, let's go ahead and go into the greenhouse, and I'll show you what's going on in here. We've got some zinnias coming up in flats and some sunflowers. Those are the remaining tomato plants. Looks like I need to get some water in there. And in front here is ground cherries, which had a hard time getting going this year. And I'm just waiting for them to get big enough to put in the open garden. These are my backup brassicas, and I'm also waiting for them to get big enough to put in the open garden. These are the remaining peanut plants, and we'll be seeing them out in the open garden in a little bit. A few more sunflowers, and this is okra, which I'm also waiting to get big enough to go out in the garden. And those are a form of lily that we wintered over inside, and much to my delight, they are coming back, if very slowly. And here's some marigolds that we've been placing around. We're not having anything under the lights anymore, so everything has moved out to the greenhouse that's still remaining. But look at the growth we are seeing in the brassicas here. So what we have, if you recall, are cabbage, snow crown cauliflower, Skywalker cauliflower, both white varieties. This is broccoli, and it's Diplomat is the brand name, or the variety name. These are lovely pak choi, and then going like crazy are these kale plants, and then the last couple of rows here are Brussels sprouts, some of which are doing better than others. But that's why we have the backup brassicas, because we'll be planting them in vacancies. We have a couple of vacancies here in the broccoli, and I'm afraid I have to say it's due to the dogs. The dogs literally knocked over and pulled out 2 of my broccoli plants and consumed them. So we don't get broccoli, but at least they got broccoli. And this looks pretty much the same, the slowly growing compost pile. And this looks the same on the outside, but on the inside there's a lot going on. Let me see if I can quickly unzip this one-handed. I don't think I'm gonna. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. I've got it open now. Anyway, this is the grow house where the squash is going to be grown, and is in fact actively growing in here and looking very healthy and happy. So that's good. But I want to quickly get out and zip up the door to make sure no buggies come in. But we got a pumpkin, a spaghetti squash, a zucchini, and a scallop squash, and that's all. We're just doing 4 varieties, each one planted in a hill, so hopefully they continue to do well. All right, so that brings us to this bed here, and they're hard to make out, but there are a few rosemary plants planted over here in this section, and boy, are they slow growing. Those are the very first ones we planted under the lights inside, and they're just so slow. I hope it's not because I'm doing something wrong, and they're eventually going to take off. And then Cassie is inspecting as we go the bed of onions, which are doing very nicely, the way we like to see them doing in May, after they kind of look a little scraggly when they're first planted, and it takes them a while to get through the cold weather and start taking off, but they are taking off. Speaking of taking off, this bee balm that we transplanted is growing like crazy as well. This is our peppers. We've got a couple of varieties here, King Arthur and Red Knight. And then beyond that, we have our 4 varieties of tomato. which haven't got labels on, but we've got Juliet and a new girl, Big Beef, and Grandinero, I think they're called, which is more like a tomato paste type of Italian tomato. Then we have that lovely row of bib lettuce. All of it is ready to be harvested, but we're trying to do it one at a time, and hopefully they will hang on and stay high quality for as long as we need them to. Then we got a couple rows of bunching onions or scallions, and these are deep purple is the variety. And then we've got a spotty row of radishes, but they're only spotty because we've been pulling them. We've had a couple of big salad harvests already. Then we got a row of carrots coming in nicely, which I'm hoping the dogs don't discover before we get a chance to eat them. And our row of spinach looks like it needs to be thinned a little bit, but otherwise doing well. And then our other varieties of peppers, Goddess and Mellow Star, and El Eden, which is a hot pepper. I decided to grow a little bit of hot peppers this year just for grins. And then we got eggplant back here, the final section of that bed. And there's Cassie, and there's Frankie, and the French ballerina is out there in the not the artichoke bed, the asparagus bed, doing some much needed weeding. Now here's where we got the peanuts planted. These few rows, 4 rows here, actually they're 4 double rows, so each flat of 18 plants fit into these 4 rows nicely, 9 on the side. They haven't increased in size very much since I transplanted them, but hopefully with the warmer weather coming they will also take off. This is the one celeriac seedling that I was able to get to survive. I lost all the other ones, so I direct seeded some in that row in hopes that they might come up or do better direct seeded. These next 2 areas where the flags are marking are for the okra and the ground cherries. And then beyond that, as we walk clear around here, we've got the pole beans, and these are a purple pole bean. I can't remember the variety, but they turn green when you cook them. So that's what's going on down here, and that is pretty much it for the garden proper. You can see here that everything has been coming in lush and green. We still have the same problem that we've had all the way along with just so much water. No, you stay here. You stay here. She's gonna really complain about this. No, you stay here. I'm trying to get through the garden gate here, much to Cassie's chagrin. You're gonna hear it now. But just for a minute. So that brings us to asparagus, and the French ballerina is, like I say, taking care of the much overdue weeding out here because we got lots of weeds coming up. Asparagus has also been coming up pretty good, but unfortunately I had the electric fencing turned off, and it looks like at least one deer did manage to get in here and nip off the top of some of those asparagus plants, so I'm hoping they recover, but that was not good news. But as you can see, I have neglected to weed in here or even check it, so Vanina is taking on that mammoth task. But if anyone can do it, she can. Now I've got two dachshunds complaining that I've had the audacity to come out here without them. Yeah. Like mother, like son, huh? I still have yet to get them. No, I'm coming in. Get them to really actively play with each other. They show some potential of doing that, but they just haven't quite got the, they're not both in the mood to play at the same time yet. So I keep trying to aim the camera at her, and she is constantly at my feet, so I can't. But here's the other member of the canine family, Miss Jolie. Right, Jolie? She needs a trim, don't you, little Miss Fluffy? But there they are, the three pups. That's Cassie on the left, Frankie on the background there, and of course Jolie. So let's see, what else have I got to show you here? I did show you the planters that were just starting to get going the last time. They are not starting anymore. They are going like crazy. I've got sunflowers planted. I've got tomatoes planted in here, and some of the perennial succulents that, or other perennials that were planted by Vanina. Last time the water features here didn't have any plants in them at all. Now they are practically overflowing with plants. They may be inhabited by frogs, and these pond irises are about to bloom, because May is iris blooming month. And then here's the other one. So let's go out and take a quick look at the pond before I run out of battery here. The perennial flowers coming up in the little sundial area, and Cassie has already fallen in the pond once, but was able to comfortably get out on her own, so that's good. And can you tell that it's fish dinner time? They are Hungry. But as you can see, things are really coming to life on the pond. The azaleas are starting to bloom. We got the pond plants in there. That's one of the canna lilies that we overwintered inside. And this is one of the other lilies that we overwintered inside. But it looks kind of floppy because when it was under the lights, the leaves grow, but they grow their stalks very, very tall, so they tend to flop over. But the new growth that's coming in will look good, and hopefully will be more compact and stand up a little better. I just repotted it, so. And there's some more stuff that's growing around here. The perennials are coming back, and there's another pond iris that's about to bloom. They're all over the place. They're very prolific. If you get a handful of those, they just expand, and you can split them and move them all over the place. Okay, we're coming over to the peach tree here because we got peaches on there. I think you can see those in there. Quite a few of them, actually. But sometimes you get quite a few of them starting, and then they just drop off. So I'm not getting my hopes too far up, but that's at least a good start. And over here in the nectarine tree, we don't have as many, but there are a few. You can see that one under there and another smaller one above it. There's a few around, maybe half dozen or a dozen. Then there's the pear tree, and we didn't get anything last year, but you can see there's lots of stuff that has definitely been pollinated, and they are starting to swell. But there again, you never know if they're gonna make it or not. Usually if they're gonna last all season, they won't die off in the first couple of months. What I'm trying to say is, if they last that long, then they usually they have a good chance. Boy, I'm having a hard time talking, aren't I? If they last a couple of months, there's a very good chance that they'll last for a full season, at least some of them anyway. Golly, I think that's gonna do it. We're gonna get a fire pit going and maybe do a little grilling out here on the fire pit as the sun is going down. It's dead calm out here, very nice. I did some drone footage as well that hopefully I've interspersed maybe in here, and if not, maybe I'll put some in right now. But that's the way things look around Le Jardin du Marvin for May 2019. And the introduction, oh boy, she is so on top of me that I cannot. The introduction of Cassie. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, you need to, there we go. Okay. I put the camera like behind me. Oh, she's interested in going someplace else. Good girl. She's quite an explorer too, so and she seems to love it here, so we're very happy about that. But that's going to do it. May 2019, Marvin Gardens and Cassie. Bye, y'all. Wash me down.